Hey there, my name is Przemek, and this is the review of the third EP by the British project Third Eye of the Crone, called Odes to the Wild Expanse. But first of all, sorry for this really long break in posting new videos on this channel. Personal reasons, but I hope I get back to the more or less regular reviewing on Santa Sangre YouTube channel from now on. so so we'll begin with this one. We'll open the 2026 with this review, Third Eye of the Crone, Odes to the Wild Expanse. A dozen or so months ago, I found myself completely taken by the second EP by this British Isles based project. Music deeply rooted in the psychedelic, weird, dark folk tradition, and yet feeling fresh, beautifully arranged, and simply captivating. Today, I find myself thinking that if this project had emerged and released its music, say, in the 90s or late 80s, it would now be regarded as a classic alongside names like In Gowan Ring or Birch Book. Uh, but today, we all know how things are. New music assaults us from every direction. It's harder for young projects to break through, and the listener's attention is constantly scattered by new stimuli. Even when you really like a record, there is this uh, inner compulsion, I would say, to keep searching, to dig deeper, because there's so much music out there, and that, uh, that something important might slip through the cracks. Kind of musical FOMO, I would say. And on top of that, less and less time to listen in peace. Uh, in this context, I honestly don't know how the future of Third Eye of the Crone will unfold, though, of course, I wish the project nothing but the best. Uh, Breaking through to the contemporary dark folk summit won't be easy, but I do hope the band builds a loyal fan base and that people truly immersed in this kind of music will notice and appreciate these Brits, especially since this new, completely fresh third EP does not disappoint. Once again, it delivers a dozen or so minutes of beautiful spiritual music. Uh, this is how the project itself describes the record. Uh, the EP forms a mythopoetic cycle rooted in the woods and liminal landscapes of the British Isles. Moving between folk memory and dream states, it explores moments out of time where landscape, psyche, and story begin to blur. I especially like this sentence that they really know how to sell their music. And to continue, these are songs shaped by dreaming, myths, and inner visions. Albion, not as a backdrop, but as a living presence, a space of encounter, transformation, and quiet contemplation. This is still very British music, perhaps even more so than on the previous EP. It feels as if the delicate apocalyptic folk undertones, like Current 93, still present on those second EP through Doorways of Stone, have completely evaporated here. Maybe not completely, the references to the 1970s psychedelic folk have become even stronger, because these are subtle differences. The two EPs are not radically different, but they are those differences nonetheless. Perhaps it's also the matter of sound, since once again, quoting the musicians themselves, Odes to the Wild Expanse was recorded through an old SM200 mixing desk from the 70s. Uh, I'm not sure whether this information consciously influenced my perception of this EP, but it does indeed sound analog, organic, and, for the lack of better word, cozy. For me, this is probably not music that would work best in a live setting, on concerts, but rather at home under a blanket with a cup of hot tea in your hand, which may sound a bit paradoxical, given how spacious these sounds are, evoking the feeling of being outdoors, somewhere in the forest or on on some kind of clearing brushed by the wind against your face. Uh, this album was also recorded with the participation of many guests playing a wide range of instruments such as shaman drum, bowed bass, mellotron, flute, buzuki, tabla, uh, of course synths, drums, piano. All of this makes Odes to the Wild Expanse sound, I would say, full and deeply satisfying, leaving no sense of incompleteness whatsoever.
Roamed in woodland far, led by sun, led by moon, led by star. There the heavens came upon me. Love surged beneath my feet. And the green became all I was to be. It would seem. Fall to flower yields.
Albion psychedelic folk at its finest. The only aspect that might work a little bit against this new EP when compared to Through Doorways of Stone is the fact that these tracks, while still catchy, require a bit more of engagement maybe from the listener. They don't sink in quite as quickly as, for example, A Lake of Unknowing from Through Doorways of Stone, which lodged itself in my memory after the very first listen and immediately made me want to hear it again and again and again. Though perhaps it's just my impression because this is still accessible, beautifully recorded, and emotionally resonant music, clearly created by a sensitive soul or souls. And really, is it such a bad thing to give music a little more time and love, especially when it really deserves it? Uh, no, not at all. I'm definitely a fan of Third Eye of the Crone, and I still consider them as one of the freshest and most interesting voices on the contemporary, broadly speaking, dark folk scene. Recommendation from me: Third Eye of the Crone, Odes to the Wild Expanse. Thanks for watching and see you soon.